This is part 2 of the mystery fiction, possibly made into a screenplay at some point, that I have rendered so far. I'm right up to, let's see, I'm up to convincing Stalin to give me some papers, authorization. So anyway, I take these papers and I appoint secret ministers with great power to create facilities or sciences and command, well, a lot of things. But at the same time, I tell Stalin, get his goddamn ass over to someplace and fight, because you can beat back old Hitler. Hitler's a pussy, and he's crazy. I know, because I talked to him. So anyway, Stalin starts to fight. He don't know what he's decide. He don't even know what I said. I'm getting all mystery here. Anyway, then, see, what do I do? Oh, yes. Then, in 1947, that's an important year. In 1947, I have mastered so much of the, well, not me personally, but my ministers, who know exactly what I want, because they're evil like me, well, they're capable like me. They start the project in earnest. And to do so, they have to take control of the United States nuclear arsenal and or their military. So we have a weapon that we're going to use. And it's a very good weapon. It's a kind of an early stealth. Anyway, but remember, the Soviets, I think we said Soviets, or my people in my project, have stolen the secrets from the A-bomb, have lots of uranium, rich uranium, have stolen secrets of aircraft design, submarine warfare, all a bunch of shit. Anyway, so anyway, this stealth weapon works. I'll explain to you later how it works, but remember, I got to put this up on YouTube. This is only part 2. We basically forced Truman to give up the codes and the secrets and the command and control structure of the United States military. So now the Soviets, well, actually the secret ministers in the special project, are in control of the United States. The United States is basically helpless before the Soviets. But remember, here's a key factor. The Soviets can maintain control, and they can, blackmail the United States, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But remember, sometimes a blackmailer can also be blackmailed. Now, secret organizations have a tendency to invite people that are sneaky. And one sneaky group, which I will not describe in detail, has learned that the Soviets had control of the nuclear arsenal, and were basically blackmailing and robbing and ripping and stealing and basically misusing the United States. Like they were treated like a whore. Anyway, but then this came a time when Israel had been a country, was now a country, and Stalin knows that he's got to knuckle under to these secret ministers, and he has to support it, and he can't do anything, because he does anything, the missiles will fly and the bombs will fall and cities will be crushed and the world will end. So what happens then is that the ministers of the project agree basically to make sure that the project continues to work in an efficient and capable and fully robust way, to allow this third party, this other party, to have a great deal of influence and be immune from the project itself. They don't want to be part of the eugenics project. So what happens then is, one day, Brezhnev, having learned, of course, of the secrets that they had, They had control of the United States military. They were still supposed to officially support the United States' efforts to support Israel, mostly because that way Israel could be effectively spied on. Because the Israelis had a special immunity given to them by the occasion. And so Brezhnev went to get a Lincoln from Nixon. And then in the wild ride, he was able to unleash the secret to Nixon himself. Normally the presidents wouldn't even know it. I mean, they would just be oblivious to the whole thing. But he told them, he told the truth. He told, we control your military. We control you. But somehow he was able to convey this through a third party, which I will not describe. Nixon was shocked. And so he realized that the only other large country that could possibly oppose the Soviet Union was China. So he had to go to China to tell them that the Soviets had taken over our country, his country, and were able to control the world, in fact, except that China was fairly insulated at the time because of Mao's Cultural Revolution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when he told, the Chinese officials during his visit to China, to the wall, that the Chinese took this into consideration and they understood that they had something worthwhile. Well, Nixon proposed that the United States would unilaterally disarm, he would force the issue through, we would give up our military ways, and then effectively cut the balls off of Soviets, and they couldn't have any control of our military if we didn't have a military or we didn't have any weapons. So he said total and unilateral disarmament as long as you don't attack us. So, Chinese say, okay, we'll think about it. Well, then what happens? This is all craft on the part of Brezhnev, because he knows the Chinese will try to get leverage over the Soviets, and so take control of that ultimate weapon, our nuclear arsenal. And then they would have the arsenal of the Soviets and the United States, and of course, they'd be on top of the world, and they can do what they want. That's what they always want. Well, but Brezhnev knew this, that he needed that little extra bit of pleasure and wealth, and he was willing to bargain for it as long as he could get something for doing his duty, which is basically telling the United States. Well, the thing is, this other party was the entities that gave Brezhnev his big giant cookie, his big giant lollipop, his big giant popsicle. Because they knew the Chinese would reveal their knowledge of the secret to, this is after Brezhnev's death, to the the Soviet leadership. This would cause incredible strife, eventually the breakdown of the system. Thus, the keys would be up for sale. China would have a big hand in getting the, control of the United States military and or retaliatory nuclear arsenal. So, this is the poison pill. So anyway, during a transition of power, not long before the rise of Gorbachev, the Chinese gave the poison pill to the Soviets, and this is exactly what happened. But this was craft, because this other party, this other interested party, the ones that were in league with, I would say, the devil. They knew that they had rights to the weapon to the United States militaries, because the Soviets, when they were to be dissolved, would automatically transfer any and all codes and or facilities to them, so they'd be in control. Well, of course, the Russians fell apart. Chinese thought they'd get some goodies. Hey, we're going to get control of the world now. Oh boy, just what Mao wanted. Anyway, but they didn't. They didn't know that. Then they were afraid, very afraid, because this third party said, we are in control. Do not try to figure a way out of this, there is no way. We're going to either kill everything, destroy the fucking world, or you'll give your own codes and weapons and facilities to us. Well, the Chinese said, oh shit, now we're fucked. They thought they had the thing, but they got turned around on them. Tried to blackmail the Soviets, but the Soviets has already been, well, they didn't have what they had. And, well, the Chinese agreed. They said with one distinction. They didn't want to be part of the eugenics project. They didn't want to be altered. They felt that would be bad. They have a long history. So, anyway, this third party, the interested party, they went ahead and agreed. And of course, that was a lie, because they had tried to force an issue that they had no power to force. And the eugenics project eventually went to China, and the Chinese became part of the project. I'm not going to tell you what the project is right now, because that's part of the mystery. Well, anyway, now the Chinese are now under the thumb of this third party. The Russians are too, by the way. But a lot of their infrastructure that was necessary for the maintenance of the control of the ultimate weapon, that is all of our megatonnage, the United States megatonnage, was part and parcel of the Russians. So they pretty much had their hand in it, but they had no power. They couldn't blackmail endlessly, And anyway, this third party, the Y party, let's say. Well, anyway, they continued the eugenics project, but they also said you cannot. The eugenics project, in a way, had a life of its own, but it could not be used against them. Otherwise, they just blow everything up. They just say, fucking doomsday, baby. Well, guess what? Some of the people in this Y factor, well, they were able to be bought. And what happened is they sold out the secret. And now the only people that have the weapon are the people using the techniques that I gave to them for the eugenics project. The big project. It's bigger than eugenics. It's much bigger. It's masterful. It's like changing the fucking universe. So, anyway, at this date, the project is very mature, and it's getting close to a crossroads. And when it reaches that crossroads, probably in 2020, well, my friend, we will see things happen there. It'll be very interesting. Now, I will mention the role of the Jews of Israel, but at this point, I need to get on the bus. Watch that plane go over. Hey, plane, where are you? Oh, there you are. Hey, you're a big plane. Wow. How'd you get so big? Anyway, this is Operations Officer Hannah Osborne, also known as the Devil, and also an operations officer for the CIA. And I'm working for the President of the United States, President Obama. God bless President Obama. And this is part 2, and I think it's too long. Goodbye.